Hello, Carissa here, and we are going into the space of alignment. So I like alignment because it gets everything like in congruency between your inner world and your outer world. So I'm a believer that your inner world then gets reflected outwards, and that creates your outer world. So I believe that the outer world is a mirror, and you get back what you do in the mirror, right? So when the mirror makes a frowny face, you see a frowny face. When you see a happy face in the mirror, you get it reflected back to you. So starting from that space, going into the space of alignment. So alignment is when your inner world and your outer world are in congruency. And the easiest way to do this is to hitch it to a goal, to a common good, or as I like to refer to it as an intention. So you're intending, you don't desire. I don't like the word desire because desire is like, it feels like it has tension to it, like energetic tension. Like if you're desiring something, that means it's outside of you. But with intending, yes, I'm saying it's outside, but like I'm just intending. Like I don't have like an energetic charge behind it. I'm just like, oh, intending. Right, so I'm intending, but I like to do it from the space of allowing my being, my vibing, my identity to change, to up level, and that then goes in alignment with the intending. So the person who's doing the intending, that's the person, like that's the thing that we're moving around. We're not actually like going into the space of like what we're actually intending, like the actual thing. We're going into the space of like, well, who the heck's creating this? And that's the space that we go into to get into alignment, because the mirror, so the mirror reflects this back. So who you are. So I'm upgrading my being, upgrading my vibing, upgrading my alignment, and then my intending just naturally like boop. It just naturally allows forward movement, but forward movement from the space of, okay, little rabbit hole. Okay, success. Here's my formula. Experience, skills, knowledge. So that's success. So when I say intending for a common goal, intending for a common thing, intending for this like happy end result, right? It's a matter of that equation of skills, experience, and knowledge. Now, sorry, I told you it was a rabbit hole. Okay, so we go into that space, we open that up. Okay, I get it. We're doing okay. And then, so open it off even further and say the beingness who creates the thing has to get experience. Right? So you go out there, you go into the space of your beingness, you do the things. We'll talk about releasing the stories. You do the things, your beingness then holds a vibe, your upgraded beingness. Oh, it's muddy. Holds a vibe. That vibe then, that is the space of which you would be intending from. So when you allow yourself the opportunity to upgrade your being, to upgrade your vibe. And then you go into the space of your intending. You're like, oh, the being and the vibing, that new up-leveled person can go into the success formula, and then they can walk forward in their intentions. And so that's when you get alignment. You get alignment when you go into the space of the mirror and say like, okay, I'm intending this, whatever. Outer world, outer world, outer world. Cool. Right? I just look at it as an experiment. Like this is just the space where it's like, I'm pointing my energy here so I can get the alignment down. But then I'm going into the space of my being, going into the space of my vibing. And that is whom I am expanding out from. And so we can get that into alignment. Now, that's the fun stuff. So, right, so you get that into alignment. Real quick, staying with the success formula for a moment. Success experience. So the being and vibing, new person, the up-leveled version, right? They have to have experience in order to get the knowledge, in order to get the skill. So how do you get experience? Well, the only way I know of it is to fucking do. So do. So I use the doing as the space in which I'm getting my experience, so I can have the skills and I can have the knowledge. But it starts with doing, right? It starts in the space of like, I just gotta fucking do it. It starts in the space of failure. Because what's gonna happen when you show up for the first time? You're gonna fail. Maybe, most likely. But like, allowing your failure to be part of the equation. Like, oh, fucking awesome. I failed. Like, wow, did I learn, right? So failure to me is learn. Like, yeah, it didn't go the way of my intention, but that doesn't matter because the person who created it is a new person. And we're just going through and learning how to be this new person while in a common space of an intention within an experience. So, yeah, we're gonna fail. We're probably gonna fail miserably. And it's gonna be so much fun. I promise it really is. Failure is not bad at all. It's beautiful, it's beautiful, it's beautiful. Oh, so much hair today. So, okay, I feel good about the success formula, kind of just launching that on you. But you can play around with the energetics of it because it's the skills, the experience, and the knowledge, right? Skills come from doing, come from experience. Knowledge is the embodiment. Knowledge, embodiment, experience. Keeps going round and round and round. Knowledge, the doing, the experience, right? And you get the skills. It all just keeps going around and around. So you just keep going through and building and building and building. But you're doing it from the space of this new being, this new human who up-leveled. So then, okay, I think we're good with that rabbit hole. So let's go back to alignment. So it's like the being, so the internal being. Who are you being? Right? So let's see if I can find like a common, okay, so like a common goal, common alignment. So let's say you were desiring, let's not use that word. I don't like that word. See how I always catch myself in the middle of stuff, even if I don't, like I could have just stuck with it, but we didn't. We changed it. You always have the right to go back and change your words. Your words are so powerful, so powerful. So always catch yourself, change it in the middle, right there. Own it. Okay. So intentions. So going into the space of intention, and imagine building out an intention in which you were receiving $5,000 average per month for doing something that you love to do. Like, I can't even fucking believe somebody would pay me for this. So just open up that space, right? So if you've never thought about that before, that might be like, whoa. Or if you have, you might be going into the space of, but how? And so when we're talking about energetics, it's never really about the how. It's about the who is doing, who is walking forward, who is intending, right? So if we were to go into the space of, like, as I say this, you don't know how, and then let's say you did some research online. So first you would have to accept that this is a possibility for you. So then you'd have to say, like, okay, well, that's actually not such a dumb idea. Maybe I will investigate this, right? And then, like, you go into the space of, like, okay, I'm going to find resources. So then you find resources on how to do this. And then you find something that you love to do. You see if you can find some role models who are out there doing this. Role models who are doing it in a way that feels good and lovely, right? So you're like, oh, there are people out here doing this. So initially you might have showed up in resistance because I was just picking something. But if you open up the space, maybe this could be possible for you. So then you could start going into the space of alignment. Okay, this actually might be possible for me. I might, like, maybe, right? Like, okay, so I'm in the space of, well, maybe. That's not full alignment yet, again, because I just picked something. So you might not be in alignment yet. However, so let's say you're like, okay, I'm in. Let's just say you decided to be like, I'm in. Right? So then we would have to open up and say we need our internal world to be in alignment with this, in which we're a clear channel, and we truly believe this is available. And the being who creates this, though, that's the space that we're modifying, we're upgrading, we're going into alignment, right? Because we don't want the person of a low vibe, the person that's sitting in stress, anger, resentment, this isn't for me, I don't know how, the world is against me, I have to fight, I have to work hard for money, money doesn't come easily to me, right? Like all those like stories. Oh, there's a different way. I think we're gonna have to go that way. All those stories, there's so many squirrels. All those stories have to be investigated. Investigated and released, right? So there's so many ways to release. I have a releasing mastery program that I love, 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 love. So if you don't have a solid technique, a solid energetic tool, a solid practice for when you find a belief that doesn't serve you, that you can upgrade, that you can hold yourself in congruency to going forward. Like, if I remove this, what now becomes available? You need this. And if you already have that thing, honor that thing, do that thing. Do it, do it, do it. So I can tell you the biggest space is doing. So I'm talking about alignment. okay, we found a couple stories. How many people will actually go and will do the thing? So will you take the time to release the story? Will you take the time? Will you take the time to open it up? Will you take the time to release it? So alignment, so the beingness, creating from the space where you're not dragging around that old you into everything you create. You're upgrading, you're up-leveling, you're going into like amazingness, co-creation with the universe. Like you're ordering off the cosmic menu, and when you're ordering off the menu, the universe is like, oh, they finally ordered. I am so into this. I'm so down with this. I'm so playing ball with this person. That is going to be so much fucking fun. Right? Fun, 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 fun. I think the universe just likes to have fun. So it's the doing. So going into the space of like finding the stories and actually releasing them, actually doing the thing, right? And that's like, this is what I do within my intuitive coaching sessions, is we use a special energy medicine that I use to help find and remove out the mental, energetic, and emotional blocks. So that way you upgrade your beingness, and that beingness is the one that creates. And then the universe mirrors this back to you. So upgrading your loveliness, the universe is going to mirror that back to you. Right? Like, oh. So alignment, going back, stories. So I'm saying, yeah, let's do like a spicy, oh, this is uphill, $5,000 per month, getting paid for something that you love to do. Okay. So how do I get myself in alignment with that? Then we have to go in and find all the stories. The stories that I had mentioned prior. The stories of, first, what do you love to do? That's a tricky one. It's a tricky one for a lot of adults. Like kids can tell you what they love to do. Just look at what they do, right? What do they love to do? They love to play. They love to do things that like makes their soul sing. So imagine going into this space of like, what makes your soul sing? What, like, doesn't matter if you get paid or not, I'm still gonna do it. Like, what's that thing? And then what are you, share that thing. Share that thing with the world. And what if in this space you allowed yourself to get paid? You allowed yourself to get paid not too shabby, right? So then we're like, okay, I'm on board. How do I get in alignment? We have to find the stories. So we don't want you creating more of this, the you that's wobbly, the you that's unsure, the you that's wonky, because the universe is going to mirror this back to you. So you're going to get more resentment, anger, low vibe, low levels of consciousness stuff. And we don't want more of that. The world has plenty. You deserve better for yourself. So, you deserve to live a life that you love and love and love. So, to do this, we take a look at these stories. There's lots of people today, which is cool because it's not that cold out. So stories. What's preventing you from allowing this to be true? What version of you needs to come forth. Right? With stories. Okay. Right, the stories of like, I don't have anything that brings me joy. Okay. Let's go find that. It's a whole different episode. Oh, things that bring you joy. Right? Oh. And then getting paid. Getting paid. How many people on this earth actually get paid to do the thing they love to do? There is a percentage. It's not 0. So what is it? 5%? So opening yourself up to like, I could be part of that. I could be part of the 5% who somehow brings in an income, because we don't really care about the how yet. Although we know it's a space of joy that can do that. But it's the you, the beingness. Who do you have to update yourself to be in order to allow this? Right? You'd have to be that next version of you who would say, okay, I'm willing to play. So then your willingness to choose, so will to choose. So are you willing to choose that version of you who can create this? Yes. Yes, I am willing to choose that person. And your will to choose is done in the space of decisions. So then you can go into alignment and you could say, okay, the version of me who creates this has a thing that like, that muse, that thing you get lost in hours for, that just like lights your soul up, that thing that you could talk to other people like of the same vibration, you could talk to them for hours and hours. Like, what is that? So alignment would be like, whew, going in and finding that person. Who is that person? What is that version of you that has something in them that just like lights them up, and you just want, you just want to like be in it and share it usually. Right? So what is this? So we're just opening this up. We're going into the space of alignment and we're opening this up. So awareness. So we keep having to bring you back to awareness. Keep bringing you back to the version of you who creates. So once you find the thing, let's say you have the thing. You find the thing. You're in. Okay, I'm doing it. Right? Now, the you who says yes, what you within there has what beliefs, right? Most of the time, it's the space of hard. It's going to be hard. Well, your words are powerful, and you're going to get that mirrored back to you. So, who's the being that's creating? The being who says this is hard, getting it reflected back to you. Okay, this is hard. You're in alignment. You're in alignment with this is hard, right? Or could you go into the space of experience and saying, what if I had a lot of fun gaining experience? Okay. What is the funnest way to gain experience? Right, so that's different than the version of you who's showing up for foot is like really caught. Ooh, that was close. The version of you who's showing up for that alignment, because you're going to be aligned. You're going to be aligned to what's really hard. Or you're going to be aligned to, oh, I need experience and I get to have fun while I'm gaining experience. And failure is just experience and fun. Failure is experience and fun, right? So redefining failure. So now this person who's in alignment, this person who could align their thoughts up to, am I the person right now, the being who will enjoy, who could enjoy allowing the universe, like the intention of creating $5,000 per month, doing something that you absolutely love to do, like it brings you joy. Could you allow yourself to set your intentions with like 5% of the universe who's doing this? I'm just making up 5%. I don't really know. Right? But there's people doing it. So can you align to those? Can you align to that space? And then can you have fun? Can you have fun in the experience? Right? Can you make it non-crunchy? Right? Because when you make something crunchy, you're just going to get more crunchy. Right? So if you created something in the vibe of crunchy, guess what your customers are going to be? Crunchy. Pains in the asses. Right? But if you made something from the space of like, oh, ooey gooey, like you pour your heart into it and you share with the world, right? Your clients probably aren't going to be crunchy. Maybe like a smaller portion. And that is beautiful. So you're sharing your light, you're sharing your love, you're sharing your authenticity. Oh, the world needs that. So how can you align to that? What version of you can show up for that and can show up for that in a way that's like, I'm going to have so much fucking fun failing forward that, you know what? The journey is the reward, right? Your beingness and your vibe are the reward for the journey. How cool is that? Right? And this is stuff that I go into so deeply within the Up-Leveling Energetics course and the experience as we go so deep into this. But it's your being, right? So I'm saying about like giving your heart, having fun, joy, and making money. Right? For most people, there's not alignment in that conversation. Okay, so it's stories. It's the stories of, I don't know anybody who's doing this. Right? And that was kind of a bigger one for me. Like rental properties. It was harder to allow myself to think that I could do it than to actually do it. Because I didn't have somebody who's doing it with me. So I don't have like all these people in my life who are landlords. I don't have that. I don't know anybody. Right? And I could reach out and get some people, but like not that intimate relationship. Right? Like I don't have like a close family member who's willing to like, you know, guide me through. So like saying yes Like, that was, I think, actually the hardest part. Like saying yes to owning a house in Costa Rica. Like, I think just saying yes was the hardest part, because you're like, I'm saying yes and I don't know what's going to come after this, right? So that's, to me, that's like the great void. But it doesn't matter what comes after that, because my beingness, if I have a really good space of beingness, my levels of consciousness are just like all like high vibed. And then every space within my energetic system is like a full fuck yeah. Like, even if I do fucking fail, oh, I had fun doing it. And that's okay. So that's why it's so important for your being to be in alignment, to be a yes, to be, I'm in. So going into this alignment, right? Like, can it be fun? Can you be the person who has fun while making money? You know, and the hardest, right here, for me, saying yes to these things was one of the hardest. Like, it was the hardest. The rest of the stuff is like the things I can teach you. This is the releasing. This is the healing. This is the holding. This is the success formula. But it's the space of like choosing. It's a space of like investing in the you, saying like, there's gotta be a better way. I don't need this 3D bullshit push-pull, right? Like, yeah, I can manifest that way, but like, is it gonna feel good? Probably not. Then I'm just gonna get more of that. Ugh. Oh, cute little side thing. Might have to come back to that. Right? So, alignment. So going into this space of alignment, like who your beingness. So imagine saying yes to that thing in your heart. That thing in your heart. Just saying yes to that thing that's sitting in your heart. Saying yes. And it's really hard sometimes to say yes. It's really hard sometimes to hear that internal voice. And so, sorry, we're going to go down a little rabbit hole. So, for me, like, that's intuition. Intuition is your ability to hear and, like, hear the energetics, to hear this realm that's not, like, tangible, right? It's the realm that, like, nobody talks about, nobody goes into, but it's right here. It's everywhere. So for me, I have to stay like a super clear channel in order to hear this. And so for me, in order to hear this, I have to be very like careful about like what comes into my field. And so that would be like what I watch, right? Like I don't watch anything. I try, like I'm not 100%, but I don't watch things that I don't want to experience, right? Like how many movies does that limit you to? I always do like the 80-20, like I'm not going to stress, but for the most part, you know, what comes in? What am I listening to? What am I watching? Who's around me? What are they saying? Right? That's so important. And then, so like, what's going on around you, right? Then think of like what you're putting in your body. Water. I don't want to say OCD, but I'm getting there. About my water. I only want to drink live water. Water that wasn't from a tap. Water that didn't get like touched by a human, right? Like, I don't want any of that grossness. So, like, my water comes from land in New Hampshire that I have with my partner, and we drink that water, right? It's obviously gone through purification, but that's the water, like live water, minerals, and like, Mother Earth. It's beautiful. And then, right, if I've got like the water, that's 70% of my body, then I go into the space of my food. And so 80-20, because I'm not going crazy about it, but I'm holding rules. It doesn't feel right, because I don't follow rules, but I give myself guidelines. So that's where the 80-20 comes in. So don't get like crazy about it, but I'm conscious of it, like, so I keep my awareness there. And like, I mostly eat carnivore. So I eat things that had eyes, right? Like butter and ghee and avocado. I know those aren't meats, but bear with me. Like all of that, like that good fat, and then meat from cows that you literally are like, oh, I know the farm that you came from. Right? That to me is like, when I eat that way, my brain is like quicker, can process things. But it's even more than that. It's like on an energetic level, it's clear. It doesn't have the chemicals, it doesn't have the grogginess, it doesn't have the cloggedness, right? So like, what's coming in, is that in alignment with being a clear channel? And then, as we're continuing on this little rabbit hole, I spend a few hours a week journaling, releasing, clearing all the things, and healing, right? Like doing my medicine, right? Take your own vitamins, take your own medicine, right? That's like, in order for me to show up as the clearest channel possible for myself and for my clients, like, I have to spend a few hours a week releasing all the stories my human put on, right? And it's usually because I'm doing something and I'm not seeing results, or so expectations, and then I get frustrated, or or I get annoyed, or like all these like things. I have to go in and take a look at them. Okay, right? What's the story? The story is I'm not seeing results. Like, is that the story? So the story is I'm doing it for a specific result. Okay, well, that wasn't my intention. My intention is my being and my vibe. That's the reward. So am I getting my reward? Technically, yes, but not the one I want. So I have to go back in. Okay, let's look at the beingness. Who's going to create this? What version of me? The version of me that's going to create this. Right? The version of me who's going to create this in fun. Okay, the fun version of me who's going to enjoy this. Right? Like, what's going on? Okay, she probably had an easy morning. She probably had some beautiful music. She probably had her coffee. She probably had some other websites pulled up so she can like know what she's looking at. Right? Like, it's the things, but bringing yourself back to the beingness. So the beingness who creates this, I'm not sitting down at a computer going, well, I'm not saying. Sometimes I do. But we always call ourselves out on our own shit. So we find it. But what I'm saying, what I'm really saying, is when I go to create things, I get into the vibe, right? Like my manifesto, my sacred 2 words, the things that I like live through is sacred play. So, right? So I have to get into the space of sacred play. That's the beingness. So when I go and start like frustration, pity, aggravation, all of those low level things, when I create from that space, I'm going to get more of that back, mirrored back to me. So I'm not doing it. I'll catch myself and be like, nope, I'm not doing this. Because I'm not, that gets imprinted. It quite literally gets imprinted. So I have to go into alignment. I have to go into being. I have to go into vibing. Okay. All right, then getting my attention, intention, and giving. So getting all of those aligned within my internal space so the universe can mirror back my alignment. So alignment can be just the beginner space of cracking the door open and like seeing, and alignment can go like all the way down to the soul level. Like if you're doing that thing that lights up your soul, right? But you can start from the space of just getting in alignment with your human, with your body, right? You can start with your water. You can start with your food. You can start with your like vital life force energy. You can start with your intuition. Like you can start in those spaces, and then you can just keep going up and up and up and up. The healing journey will never be done, ever. Unless you're Buddha or Jesus, there's always more things. It's just part of the reason why we're here. There's always more things. I shouldn't say the reason why, because I really believe the reason why we're here is to play and have fun, to wake up in the 3D, right, to become lucid in the 3D reality. However, if you're able to clear some stuff too and live your best life, it's also pretty awesome. So, whatever feels good for you. Well, that's interesting. I'm gonna guess that's an old hunting platform, but I don't really know, because we're in a public park. But I think you can hunt. Looks old. Yeah. So, that's a little, let's see if we can go into that space of like hunting, right? Like going into the space of like obtaining, going into the space of like having to like, it's that masculine energy of like hunting. Wow, I didn't really explain that super well. But like going into the space of like alignment is different than like hunting down. Alignment is different than dominating. Alignment is different. So alignment is the space of congruency. So when you're trying to like dominate a goal, when you're trying to hunt a goal, like these are the spaces of the mind. That's why I'm always talking about like demoting the mind. The mind, that mind, I don't want that mind creating. And that's why, so when you talk about a decision, go down another little space. A decision, there's three pieces to a decision. And I think of them as dials. So you can dial up or dial down. That's your logic. That's your mind. Then we have your intuition, which is like what I'm always like talking about or feeling into, your intuition. And then you have your emotions. So like emotionally driven reactions, emotionally driven things. So that's like a lot of times what we're clearing is the emotions, the feelings, the stories, the ickiness. So going into those spaces of alignment, and alignment coming into a decision. So it's a decision of like logic, like just like pure, like the universe isn't helping me, the unseen realm isn't helping me. It's just like straight up like logic. That to me is like the masculine, like dominating. And I say it with love. I don't like, it's not like men masculine, it's just masculine energy. And so putting it in like the right proportion, because masculine can also be doing. But when you're doing from a space of dominating, so your beingness is dominating, then you're creating from that energy. You're creating from the energy of like attacking, dominating, controlling, and like obtaining that way. So that's like the push and pull, hunting. Or you could say, you know, I'm going to dial down the logic. I'm going to dial up the intuition. And that usually is like hearing, fun, play, things that don't necessarily make sense. I can tell you they'll make sense later, but the you that's like sitting there like playing with these dials, it's not going to make sense. So intuition. And then going into the emotions. So like what emotions are going on in you? Where's that internal reference point? That internal reference point of what emotion? What emotion are you creating this decision from? Right? So like imagine as if you were in alignment. So going back like $5,000 per month, doing something that you absolutely love to do. Right? And like what emotion does that spark? Like intrigue? Does that spark like what the fuck? Like what emotion? Like anger, irritation? Like that's not available for me. You know, like is it spark that emotion? What's the emotion? What's the chatter opening that up? And so when you're creating, you're also going into the space of decisions, and you're now making decisions from the space of logic, from the space of intuition, and from the space of emotion. Ooh. Oh, it's so beautiful here. So that's a decision. So align your decision up with your intention. So alignment would be like dialing down the mind. For me, like this is, right, I can only speak to my reference points. That's what you get. So for me, it's dialing down the logic, saying it's kind of the universe is going to have to figure this out. I always do that. So I always like, all right, I ordered the cosmic menu. I ordered it. And I said within my ordering, right, like let it be so obvious that the universe participated in the co-creation. So I work with universe blow my mind. Right, so if the universe is out there blowing my mind, it's going to be pretty obvious that I'm participating in some amazing co-creation with the universe. And I intuitively feel that this is the space where I'm dialing down the logic. Because the logic is my puny human brain trying to logically think through it. But if I can stay into the space of being, the space of vibing, if I can stay in alignment with the version of me who's creating this intention with like, so much like ooey gooey goodness, that is the reward, the now, right now, how I feel right now, reward, check, right? And then my decisions, I'm dialing down the logic, so that way the universe can co-create with me. I'm dialing up the intuition. Now intuition, it's like It's like when you go back and you look at your life, and at the time, it didn't make any sense. But looking back, it did. Or looking back, it does. That to me is like intuition. That's to me of like, it doesn't really make rational sense at the moment. But you know what? I have faith that I just ordered off the cosmic menu with this beautiful intention. And I'm dialing down the logic, just dialing it down. It's to a degree in which your human will allow you to, so that's fine. It's like you don't have to do it all at once. You just keep doing it to a degree that you feel comfortable with. And then, so you're playing with your intuition, dialing it up, dialing down the logic, and then feeling into the emotions. So that's the space of your decision. So every decision, you can stay in alignment. Alignment with your will to choose. Right? So what are you choosing? And those are your intentions. So what are you intending for yourself? Where are you aligned? What do you want? So that's where that common goal is. That common, like, where we're pointing our attention. And we can get everything on the same page, then we really have like that, like, oomph behind it. So if we can get everything on the same page, that's alignment. And so that's why I like goals. I like the common good. I like intentions, because that gives us a space to point. That gives us a space to be like, hey, right now my being, my vibing, yeah, my awesome intention, okay, but I want to upgrade my beingness. So go and upgrade your beingness to the identity that creates the thing. So to me, it's this beautiful cycle. So it's not just like self-growth, not hinged to anything. It's self-growth attached to, within my program, a surrender experiment project in which you learn to hold. You learn to hold. You learn to hold but not smother. Oh, it's so beautiful. Hold and not smother. How amazing would that be? To hold and not smother. To upgrade your beingness. To upgrade your vibing. Through finding the stories that you wish to release, actually releasing them, key, healing, the healing, work with an energy practitioner, go get some healing, call me, healing, right, healing. And that allows you then to hold. So you can hold your beingness, you can hold your vibing, and you can stay in alignment. And then you claim. So you keep claiming the possibility. You keep claiming yourself. You keep saying, like, inner world. I am my safest investment. I claim myself. I claim this space. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. Right? I'm done doing this other thing. I can't do this anymore. Or, wouldn't it be so much fun? However you get here, it does not matter. What matters is what you do here. So you're here, radically accepting where you are. And rather than using your thought energy to sit there and complain about where you are and wanting to be somewhere different, instead, you radically accept where you are. Then you point your attention towards your intentions. And then you look at your being. You look at your vibing. Say, who's doing this? Who's up for this? Like, who's creating this? But from a space of like, I'm going to get it mirrored back to me. My universe is going to mirror this back to me. Now pick who's the being, who's the vibing, what's the identity, and the choice. So you're now giving yourself the opportunity to have the will to choose within the alignment. I love this stuff. It just keeps circling in a beautiful, like, you upgrade, you up level, you just keep up leveling, you keep up leveling. Oh, so beautiful, so beautiful. So we've got your alignment. So it starts with saying, yeah, there's a better way. There's a better way. There's always a better way. And that better way is the easy way, the fun way, the aligned way, the getting this mirrored back to you. So your inner landscape, allowing your inner landscape, the being and the vibing, that inner space to be so amazing. And doing that by releasing those stories of this just isn't available for me, the stories of like that unseen realm isn't true, the stories of I don't have enough time, right? Like, oh, all the stuff that quantum physics is actually like, hey, actually it's all true. Time's just an illusion. So to me, that's why now is so important. The journey is the reward. The being and the vibing in this moment. Getting everything, like putting your whole heart into allowing the being and the vibing to be here in this moment. Like, what do you have to get rid of? What do I have to do? Why am I saying this isn't available for me? I'm aligned with infinite possibilities. I'm aligned with a great void. I'm on that higher level of consciousness. That's the being that's going to create. So continuing to stay aware. So continuing to charge my light body, right? Like, to me, that's so important. To continue to run energy through my body, to continue to allow this intelligent light to continue to be connected above and below, continue to hold that bigger realm open is so important. It gives me the ability to hold that upgraded being. It gives me the ability to remind myself constantly to be, to vibe, to be aligned with my intentions. It's just such a beautiful practice. Beautiful, beautiful. So alignment, finding the things that are out of alignment. Finding the stories and the stories and the stories. Oh my goodness, we carry around so many stories. Mostly it's the story of like self-sacrifice. I will self-sacrifice my inner world to please people, to make the outer world look pretty, the outer world to look pretty enough so that people won't ask me about my inner world. It's the space of loneliness. It's the space of like hurt. It's the space of like sadness, grief, sorrow. It's that space that hurts. It's that space of like misery. And a lot of people are addicted to that vibration of misery. So many people. I think that's actually an epidemic of being addicted to a certain level of misery, a certain level of like self-talk, a certain beingness that's just miserable. Right? Like it's an addiction, chemical addiction, chemically addicted to being a victim. Right? So alignment, when you're in alignment, you can't be a victim. That's hard. It's hard to not have excuses. And so it's hard to like open up that space. It's that space of like, I can't be a victim. Fuck. I have to take radical acceptance. Okay. That's accepting where I am right now. And that's saying, okay, accept where I am right now. I don't love it, but I'm here. Okay, right? I'm not going to argue with where I am. I'm not going to argue with GPS, right? I'm here. I'm nowhere else. I don't have a time machine. I'm here. I'm here and I'm here and I'm here and I'm here. I can't be anywhere else. So you can radically accept where you are. And then that frees up the thought energy. When you free up your thought energy, that then allows you to say, okay, what's going on in there? What am I telling myself? Why am I making this unavailable for myself? Why am I saying this has to be hard? Why am I addicted to this misery? Why? What happened? What happened in my childhood? What happened in my teenage years? What happened to me as an adult? Where are the stories? What are the life events that I'm so hooked into that are allowing me to constantly reaffirm my misery? So you're reaffirming, right? So opening up that space even deeper, and going into pure alignment with allowing, allowing the will to choose, allowing the opportunity to give yourself a new being, upgrading your personality, right? You don't need a fixed personality. Upgrading your personality. I always like, what if I can upgrade my personality so much that I have to reintroduce myself to people? Like, that's kind of cool. But what if it was so like in tuned with that next version of me, right? So alignment. Even when the people around me are still seeing me and holding me to that old space, that's okay. I stay aligned. It's not their job. It's my job. It's taking ownership, responsibility. Obviously not being a dick about it. But just continuing to show up as the most amazing, awesome you. Right? Everybody deserves that. Everybody wants that. Right? Who doesn't want to live that? Right? It's so beautiful. So alignment is when your inner world is so, just feels so good. Feels so like fully clear channel. All your limiting beliefs have been removed, destoried, delete, destroyed, across all time, dimension, space, and reality. And then you're going through and you're healing all that stuff, all that energy, that emotional energy, the mental energy, the energetic space. You're going in and healing it, and then allowing yourself to hold that intention, and then the beingness that creates this intention. This beingness is the reward. This beingness is the vibe. This is the journey, is the reward. This is it. Like, that's the space. That is when you're in alignment. And your beingness and your vibing is your reward, how you are right now. But you got to get to that space. It means there might be some work to do. Everybody's got work to do, right? Everybody's got work. Everybody's got stories. but will you give yourself the opportunity for alignment? Will you allow yourself the opportunity to do this? It's a choice. It's scary. It's so scary. But I think it's just that choice that's scary. It's like that first choice. And I think a lot of it is like the great void is where like people forget to bring in the unseen realm. People forget to bring in the universe. They think it's like this army of one. When really like the great void isn't like dark. I think of it as light. Like it's just so light. Like it's like that door that has the light shining behind it. Like that's the great void. That's where you're like surrendering into the flow. That's where you're allowing the universe to be like, hey, knock, knock. Let's play. Let me in. That's the person who opens up the door to the great void. That is the creation. There's so much awareness that goes into that space. You have to be conscious. You have to stay awake. You have to stay aware. But you have to have a practice in place to do this. Oh, I so have you covered if you need help in this space. There's so many resources. I have resources. Other teachers have resources. You don't have to take as long as I did. It took forever. Oh my gosh, I feel like I took forever. I had so many dark nights of the soul. And that's part of the process too. It's part of the healing. It's part of grieving and leaving your old beingness and going into a new space, into a new you, into your new human, and moving through. So being the bison and not the cow, right? Running into the storm, running into the pain, running into the hurt, and doing it from a space of your heart wide open, heart wide open, heart wide open. Oh, I feel like I covered so much today. I hope you found this helpful. I'd like to send you so many blessings for our time together, for our time apart, for all the things that are to come for you. So blessings, blessings, and blessings.